Good morning, everyone. We're going to be starting our service this morning by singing Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And this feels like a song that feels like rising in body or spirit. So let's go ahead and do that. It's kind of hard to sit still with this one. Okay. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice and come in. Open your hearts to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice and come in. Thank you.
Good morning. The words for our call to worship this morning are adapted from Sherry Woodbury. Come in. All you who are yearning for community, come in, be among us. All you who are just getting started, all who long to go deeper, all of you with tender places needing care, come in, be among us. To the ones who have healed and have care to give, to you who are curious and hungry to learn, and you who know you have something to teach, come in, be among us. For those who suspect you might nurture another's becoming, to the young and old, the innocent and jaded, the fresh of mind and deeply steeped, come in and be among us. There is room here for each and every one, wanderers, worshipers, lovers of leaving, come in, be among us. Today we are gathered on the unceded ancestral lands of the Duwamish people who are still here, still carrying forward cultural practices and wisdom that have stewarded this land and surrounding waters for generations. Let us feel ourselves firmly grounded on the land beneath us, and remember that we did not arrive here by chance. In this acknowledgement, let us have the courage to consider our role in the repair of this legacy of violence and erasure. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this faith community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no creed or oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another, commitments we make to healing a hurting world within and beyond our walls. So welcome.
And now, let us take a moment to light our chalice. Our chalice lighter today is Israel Evans. This chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. May its heat energize us for the work that is ours to do. May its light make our vision clear and bright. May its warmth comfort us always. This morning, as we light this flame, we mark this time as sacred time. We mark this space as sacred space. Let us share in all of this together. Now, as Israel lights our chalice, please join me in speaking the words of our congregation's affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant with one another. Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist congregation on this first Sunday morning of the summer. I am Jill Fleming, a member of the worship team, and it is a great joy to be gathering with you for this service on the theme of who we are as a congregation are becoming. If you are with us for the first time or the first time in a while, welcome. We are so glad that each of you are here to share in this time, to make space in your life to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website, which you can do by scanning the QR code on the card in the pews, where you can fill out a welcome form that lets us get to know you a bit better and send you our weekly electronic newsletter, the Westside Week. It is good to see familiar and new faces today. Let us now take a few moments to greet our neighbors around us. Well, as always, it's good to see such enthusiastic greeting going on. We hope you continue these conversations after the service downstairs at our coffee hour. But before we continue, Reverend Carter has some breaking news from our annual General Assembly.
So this weekend is our National Unitarian Universalist General Assembly, and there were many business items considered. There's going to be probably lots of publication for you to read all about the various things that passed, among them some social justice, actions of immediate witness, and also we passed the changes to our Article 2 of our bylaws, which for some of you, for some people it is a time of celebration. This was, they passed by 80%, so it was by no means a unanimous decision. There was a lot of difficult conversation and striving for compromise and adapting the language. And also some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's cool too. Basically, the National Unitarian Universalist organization, which supports congregations and that we also mutually support them. They have this big document that lays out who we are and how we define ourselves as Unitarian Universalist. And so we're reshaping how we name our values in order to reflect who we are, because the last time those were changed was in like the 80s. Let me see, I got this article. I don't know if there's anything, it's hot off the presses, the news release. But you may see going around, I'm sorry it's a bit small, it's available. There's also a bulletin board in the hall with some of this information. We have this beautiful new rainbow flower depiction of our values with love at the center. And so none of these necessarily goes first above the others, but they are all part of one mosaic that makes us up. So with love at the center, our values are justice, interdependence, equity, generosity, pluralism, and transformation. And then there's language about how we define all of those and what they call us to do in the world. So that is the breaking news, and I'm sure for those of you who want to dive really deep, there will be lots of reading material. Thank you.
Each week, congregants who agree to light our chalice are given a chance to respond to a question. This is a chance for us to get to know them better and to invite more voices into our chancel. Israel Evans has been asked, what does being you mean to you during this season of your life?
Good morning. So to set the context of this, the season of life I'm in now, I've been a UU for a little over 20 years now, a friend and member of this congregation for 10-ish some years, firmly in the middle of my life. And so what does it mean? Being a UU in this season of my life, it means chosen family. I'm a husband and a father of 2 teens, so family is one of the central themes in my life right now. This UU community is my chosen extended family. We're all family here. That is to say, a family that has a shared outlook and purpose, standing on the side of love. Like me and my immediate family, you have chosen to be here. You are a family I have pride in. Youth group and RE are like that gaggle of cousins at the family reunion. You can hear them getting a little rowdy sometimes, but they mostly keep to themselves. But this is also a little chosen family and a safe space. For instance, youth group knew my teens' preferred pronouns before I even did. So thank you, RE staff and volunteers. At every big get-together, someone eventually pulls out a guitar and some singing breaks out. For me, this is like Sunday services, such as this one right here. I married into the UU church, so to speak. My wife's a lifelong Unitarian. When I first started going to services with her, music was one of the things that most moved me about the services. I love that feeling of being in a group and singing together without that pressure of it being a display or a presentation, a performance, where it can just come from your heart and not worry about what anybody else thinks of your terrible singing voice. And it's kind of beautiful having all of those shaky voices blending together as a community. And like Blue Boat Home, I still can't listen to that without getting a lump in my throat. This congregation is also a conversation at the dinner table. We meet at potlucks and coffee hour. We gather around food, which makes a sacred space for conversation and connection. Maybe you say hi to that familiar face you see once in a while. Maybe you get a little bit closer to somebody you have some concern for. Sometimes it's deep discussions, and sometimes it's simply, which pie looks better? These interactions are what family is forged from. So being in a chosen family, it means all of this, but it also means you are not alone. It means no matter who you love or how your brain works, there's a seat for you at the table. It means an introvert like me has a reason to go see people. It means being intentionally uncomfortable. It means showing up for each other. So, thank you all for choosing to be in this extended family I call you. I'm happy to share my one wild and precious life with you all.
Thank you, Israel. That was wonderful. We now invite you all to rise in body or spirit as we sing Wake Now My Senses, which is hymn number 298 in the gray hymnals, if you're interested in looking along. The words will be up here. And we were talking before with the chorale and with Reverend Carter earlier about this song. And Carter shared this experience that she had with someone who was going through the ordination, and they said that they actually had a spiritual experience during the very last verse of this song when it was sung at their ordination. So I invite you all to open your own hearts to a spiritual experience as you are singing this song, and I'm inviting the chorale to do the same thing. Here we go. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Heal with the web of creation your vow. Living, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the truth. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the white sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now, my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care. Thank you.
Well, thank you all, chorale and everyone, for singing. It is now time for all ages. Liz Buckley will be sharing today's story, Caterpillar Tears by Anish Lionheart. Anyone of any age who wishes to see or hear our storyteller better, please come down to sit on the floor or in the front pews. While we gather, I'll tell you a bit about the religious exploration activities going on this morning. All ages are invited to join in downstairs for a fun Connect and Explore class where we will celebrate our year and plan for summer fun.
Good morning. Is everyone done with school yet, or people still have a few more days? You're done? Right on. Hi. Well, sometimes at school, at the end of the school year, the teacher talks with their classroom about things they've done and things they've learned. And we're actually doing that here at church today. We're talking about our church year. What happened this year? What did we learn? Where are we going? Have you ever learned either at school or somewhere else about butterflies? Yeah? Do you know what they are before they're butterflies? Cocoons, yes. What else? Caterpillars, exactly. Caterpillars are adorable. Do you like them more than butterflies? Sure. A chrysalis, excellent. Wow. Nice, that's a great word. Well, I brought some caterpillars to share with you. Nora, you want to grab those from me? You want to take those and help hand them out? Or pass it around? Don't let these loose in the car on the way home. Well, I have a poem to share with you about caterpillars before they become butterflies. They have a whole life. This is called Caterpillar Tears. The caterpillar marches, munching from leaf to leaf to leaf. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where he's been. He only knows the munching, the hunger in his gut, the fire in his belly, antenna pointing up, vigilant for predators, water, and leaves. He doesn't know where he's going. It matters not where he's been. The caterpillar weaves instinctively without knowing why he must, but weaves he does. A cocoon for growing. The caterpillar digests himself, dissolving into soup, becoming a pod of pain and tears and caterpillar goop. Alone for weeks, he suffers, reconfiguring, his whole body becoming a new kind of being. No idea what he's becoming, no idea what's in store. Suddenly, caterpillar emerges more beautiful than before, stronger and more delicate, lighter than the air, ready for love and lofty height, a sight beautiful and rare. The butterfly does not look back to the caterpillar he was. The butterfly flies forward, embracing whatever comes. Thank you to all the caterpillars and butterflies here. Thank you for listening to my poem. And now the congregation is going to sing you out.
We
Thank you, Liz. In a moment, we will engage in our collective act of generosity, our offering, where we take time to actively support Westside UU and its many ministries. Each month, we choose a community recipient to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. That is, those donations not designated as your pledge contributions. For the month of June, this community recipient is here in our community, our Congregational Care Fund. One of the essential but lesser known functions of a church is its commitment to care for its congregants in times of need. One way we ensure that we are able to do this is through putting money in a congregational care fund, sometimes known as a minister's discretionary fund. This is a pool of money that congregants can confidentially request support from when they are going through a difficult time. This money can be used to fund hotel rooms for people in housing transitions, to cover that last little bit of utility bills, or to call in professional support to clean up after fires or floods. Your donations to this fund each year go directly to help members of this community in their time of need. It is a form of mutual aid that we get to offer to one another. So thank you for your contribution. You can give by text by sending a message with the $sign and the amount you want to give to the number that is on the screen. Or for folks in the sanctuary, there will be baskets going around if you'd like to pay by cash or check. The greeters will move among us shortly. If you'd like your gift to be recorded from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And now, please enjoy this gift of music, We Walk in Love by Deanna Witkowski. Thank you all for your generosity. During each of our services, we like to take a moment to make collective space for the joys and sorrows of this community. As a reminder, you can submit your joys and sorrows through a form in our newsletter. There are no individual joys or sorrows to share this morning, but we know we each hold in our hearts many. Let us especially lift up those who are grieving from their relatives who died on pilgrimage in Mecca this past week. There were hundreds of pilgrims who were subject to extreme heat and passed away on this important ritual. We hold them and their families in our hearts. Our topic today is who we are becoming. While excitement about the present and dreams for the future are important, I also wanted to take a moment to remember our congregation's history and roots. So in that spirit, will you please join me in a time of prayer, reflection, and meditation? Here in this moment, we remember that we are not the first ones here. There are those of us in this room with deep roots here, and so many not in this room. Let us honor that small fellowship that first met in a house, united by common values, people overjoyed to find others to share this kind of community with. Let us honor that growing congregation that met in the Masonic temple, setting up and taking down chairs every Sunday, holding class anywhere there was extra space, including in the bathroom, I'm told. That community was defined by tenacity, fueled by love. And over in Rainier Valley, a cohort with a shared vision of a truly inclusive, truly multicultural community, close-knit and radical. Let us honor them. Let us honor the people who with pride and determination bought this building for a permanent church home, consecrating it with work teams, painting, carpentry, transforming the bones of this space into something new, declaring that love rules within these walls. Let us honor each and every beloved elder, those who have left us in this lifetime, and those who, by circumstance or their own sense of broken relationship, have moved away from this community. They are still part of us. And all the young ones who have grown up here, the youth who bridged in order to travel far afield, the ones who stayed, the ones who came back, who are making new relationships with us as adults. Let us honor them. Let us honor everyone who has served in leadership, especially those who had to make excruciating decisions. Let us honor the insistence on hope that came with every ministerial transition, both the joy of inviting someone new in and the grounding in knowing that things can be better than this when deciding to part ways. They are both an insistence on hope. Let us honor this community that has been seeing each other through a pandemic, all those struggling and straggling on the outskirts, weary, burnt out, and those intrepid leaders who have stayed in the game, showing up time and again to see this community through the storm, dreaming of a day with clear skies. Let us honor everyone who has ever been a part of this us. And please offer some love to yourself. You who are in this room, you who are joining us online, you are a part of this story. May you be honored. Amen. Now we will join in a time of singing in our meditation.
This reading is from Reverend Elizabeth Nguyen. I got off work at 7 p.m. and did the thing where you chase the bus a little bit, but then realize you won't make it and walk sheepishly back to the bus stop. I'm already an hour late to Sunday night singing at the Lucy Stone Cooperative, a UU affordable housing co-op in Boston. I'm still ambivalent. I could go home to Netflix and grilled cheese. I could choose predictability and warm carbs. Or I could get on the bus to this community where I was first a member of the planning team and now a board member, this place where, despite my leadership role, I still find myself questioning whether and how I belong. I give myself a little pep talk, reminding myself that I'm allowed to show up late and hungry and in need of a song. Reminding myself that being in community means offering care and being cared for, bringing my shiny self and my not so shiny self. When I arrive, there's a teapot of hot water and a plate of fat dates on the table. A friend presses a bowl into my hands and there's broccoli soup. We sing Amazing Grace. The wonders of accepting love have made me whole and real. Community is covenant. It's the promise of a bowl of soup and a song at the end of the day. It's love in the form of a house on Moreland Street that has said that it doesn't matter that I don't live there, that I too am welcome on Sunday nights. Laid bare, it is the succor and accountability of doing that thing together that we cannot do alone. I've not always been my best self in the communities I've loved. I've shirked dish duty at Lucy Stone and missed weddings in my hometown. I've dropped out when I was needed and showed up full of pettiness and exhaustion. The wonder of accepting love is only made evident when we're allowed to shed the shiny and let the sourness show. Our communities of spirit are only real because we show up late expecting to be fed, because we both give and get, because we bring our tart and our sweet, our gifts and our struggles. We need lemon in the lentils, rice vinegar in the sushi, a squeeze of lime in the chelada, and some acid in our communities. Without it, our communities are superficial. With no acid, we are one-note monotone. Our vulnerabilities, our bits of brokenness bring life to our relationships. We are part of community when we show up shiny and not so shiny, when we ladle soup into each other's bowls and eat it eagerly, when we bring our sour and our sweet, when we shed the shiny and show up hungry.
So I wanted to take just a moment to acknowledge that both of our songs that the chorale is sharing with you have walk in the title. And I just wanted to say that I love both of these songs, and I also wanted to really honor those in the congregation and throughout anyone who might be listening or anywhere in the world for whom walking is not an option. And to still share that we're inviting you to join us in community. And so this is a walking together in spirit as well. As just as we say, rise in body or spirit, we say, walk in body or spirit. Thank you.
We
Come, my friend, I see a brighter day. Do you? In this moment, there is a humming, thrumming possibility beckoning to us. If we slow down enough, we might feel it. Ground down into the present moment. Tap into your breath. Our breath is pure magic. This simple reminder that we are alive. There is air, spirit, flowing into and out of our bodies at every moment. It mingles around us, out beyond the borders of our individual selves. No matter the weight of our burdens, no matter how much we contain and constrain ourselves in fear, building walls of protection around our hearts, this breath remains. And with the breath, that buzzing, pulsing life energy, sometimes just urging us on when all we can do is keep going on. Sometimes aching to let ourselves break open, let it out in all its glory. Here in this community, we help remind each other of that life energy. We remind each other that we are fully human, fully alive, full of contradiction. We are whole and broken. We are strong and tender, wary and courageous. We are all of these things, sometimes all at once. Even when we don't feel ready to lean in and trust it, that life energy is there, beckoning. We might not feel ready to feel it all, but if not now, in which lifetime? What else is a more worthy task than to lean in, break open, and come alive? This is what we are called to do here in this community. In Unitarian Universalism, we do not claim to know the ultimate truth of God and the universe and life and death. We are okay living with a good deal of mystery, but still we are called into engagement with that mystery. We know that we are alive here and now. So we join together with others and try our best to figure out how we shall live, how we shall use this time we have to seek joy and to leave the world better than how we found it. It is for these purposes that this congregation was founded, and I think at least a part of why so many of us have come here. I know you are seekers. You are glad to have companions for the journey. So in this service, I am trying to hold up a mirror. I have been serving here at Westside for a year and some months, and I am delighted to continue on into the future. I've learned some, thank you all. I've learned so much from our time together and bring so much curiosity and hope about who we are becoming together. Not long after starting here, I was speaking to a minister who I look up to, who was feeling like it was time to part ways in her congregation, and I learned something from this conversation. It was a fairly long and successful tenure, and it wasn't that the relationship had soured or that she felt like she wanted to move on to bigger and better things, or even that she was bored. She knew it was time because the problems her community was working on were not the problems that she was excited to solve. That had been the case for a long time, but no more. The problems that her community had been solving during her tenure gave her energy to push her out of bed in the morning and excitement to get in there and make a difference. And they had solved many of them, and were moving on to ones that didn't make her heart sing in the same way. And she trusted that they would find a minister who that was true for. I knew Westside was the right congregation for me, not because of all of your shininess, but also because of the sour. I knew the problems being worked on here were the ones I am most excited to work on in my lifetime. The congregation here is putting so much work into learning how to love one another better, and that is what I'm here in this life for. It is an honor to join you in this work. For those of you who are newer here or have maybe been less involved as of late, Westside has been moving through some years of difficult leadership transitions, big interpersonal conflict, and also just this past few years in the world have been hard. For the recent time, folks have been doing what we are calling right relations or community well-being work. There are people in this congregation trying to learn what went wrong, initiate healing processes, and equip this community with tools so that we can do better by each other in the future. I am so grateful to have these leaders as partners in this work, and to not be expected as the new minister to come in and solve everything. Or worse, I'm not being asked to gloss over it and try to start fresh without acknowledging the past. We are in this messy work together, so that's how I know this is the right congregation for me. Our opening words that we say in our worship declare that as Unitarian Universalists, we have no creed or oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another. I hope we can pause and appreciate that for a moment. Maybe you've heard it so many times you don't really hear it anymore. In our tradition, it is our bond of commitment in relationship to one another that is our sacred text, our test of faith. We have what is called a covenantal faith because we have these practices around writing and abiding by these agreements we make to one another, and we hold them as holy. At their best, these are agreements we create together. We enter into them freely and consensually, not to be used as tools of control, but mutuality and accountability to one another. This is the work of Westside in this chapter. We have spent so many hours together, deeply engaged, and probably just scratching the surface. We have had difficult yet connective healing circles to process through some of the ruptures that still haunt us. We have had community circles for the purpose of bonding and learning to witness one another on a deeper level. We've had workshops for learning about conflict, and we've been practicing new ways of showing up for difficult conversations. And we've just been trying to have fun together too. We've taken nonviolent communication classes. We've learned about restorative justice practices. We are really in this work. And throughout this spring, we have been rewriting our congregational covenant. We have one from years ago, and it's beautiful, and it no longer feels like it truly reflects the commitments that this community at this time wants to make to one another. So many people have lovingly set to work laying out our values and articulating our promises, and soon these will coalesce into a first draft with more opportunities for input and feedback and many more drafts, and one day we will probably vote on it and decide that this is a statement of who we are to each other. And we're not stopping there. It's not just this document we're going to enshrine behind glass on a wall somewhere. We understand that these types of monuments to the written word are sometimes difficult to live into reality, and so we're doing more. In addition to, In addition to this new covenant, there are folks naming and documenting processes of repair that we can follow when we experience rupture. We have been gathering tools and resources all this time, and we want everyone to know how to access them and practice with them, and know that they have allies to support them in difficult times, because we will live into covenant imperfectly. We've realized that more than a beautifully written description of our highest aspirations, we need tools to remind us of our abiding connection to one another. And when I say we, I really mean all of us. So much of this work has been lovingly stewarded by our core team and well-being team, but there have been so many others involved. They are not experts. They cannot hold it all on their own. So I invite all of you to consider, what are the ways that we can infuse new communication and conflict practices into every aspect of our congregational life? How can we deepen in care and connection to all that we do? From coffee hour to committee meetings, to our justice work in the wider community, to our care for those who are sick or grieving, our parties, our celebrations. This is where our covenant comes to life. It becomes something more than a document looking nice and pretty somewhere. We have no creed or oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another. Let me say that I think that this community, for all its history of discord and difficulty, is coming to a strong consensus about who and how we want to be together. When I see notes from our community cafes and the earliest drafts of our covenants, I see a community that has been learning together about love and accountability and what they look like in action. I see so many of you calling each other in, being courageously vulnerable together, truly living out our values of justice and peace in our relationships together. I think that this means that we actually do know who we are, and we rest on a stronger foundation than we might realize. We believe we have something to offer each other and to the wider world. So this question today, who are we becoming? I really can't say for sure. I'm not interested in predicting our future or being some commanding captain charting a path straight ahead that you all feel obliged to follow. It's not my style. But I can say, even though I can't say where we're going, I can say that we are in a moment humming with possibility. There are so many ways that we could be on the cutting edge, expand our mission, become radical visionaries, make a difference in the world. And I want us to really consider our options and feel this possibility. Like, there's this article out right now going around about a congregation in Manhattan that is incorporating dance into their worship once a month. They've hired this professional dance troupe to do these dance liturgies. Or maybe we don't want to have dance in our worship, but are there ways that we want to take risks in our sanctuary, try something that has never been tried before? Or we remember we are in a progressive city with good access to affirming healthcare, so there is an opportunity to join a growing network of communities offering safe havens for trans people and their families, both hosting those traveling for medical care and helping to relocate those displaced by authoritarian laws in their homes. There is an effort called Pink Haven that is looking for congregations like ours to form partnerships of hospitality and support. Or we could dive in, fully invest ourselves in the intersectional justice work that is already happening, being carried by some members of our community. We have our environmental justice and racial justice change groups. How might we invite each other into more learning and more action in support of these important causes, lending our voices to making a difference on important justice issues and being truly anti-racist and intersectional in all we do? The groundwork is already there. Can we go all in? Or we could spend time together talking about aging and death and better equip ourselves to care for our elders or care for those dealing with illness. We could get serious about disability justice and really rethink how we do accessibility here. We could become a true hub in the West Seattle community, inviting people in for films, concerts, workshops, or other moments of shared connection and learning. Or create a robust system of pastoral care and mutual aid with easy access to ride shares and meal trains and friendly faces for those in need. Or or so many things. I could go on. There are so many possibilities, and we do not have to pick just one thing to do or be. I am inviting us in this moment to have big dreams for this community, beyond just getting by from year to year. I am asking you to lean in, to feel that humming of life that first called you to this place, and to say yes when it calls you again. And while I have your attention, I want to talk about this word growth. I expect we'll be talking quite a bit about growth in the coming years. It's true, after years of instability, pandemic years, we feel more ready than we have in a long time to invite new people in. We have a sense of who we are. We don't want to feel stagnant. I think it makes a lot of sense to be hopeful about growth because of all the things the new people with fresh energy might bring. More pledging units would mean we could dream bigger around our annual budgets. More hands would make lighter the work of our overburdened core volunteers. Bringing in people with diverse life experience would enliven our conversations and what we can learn from one another. More families would mean more kids and youth for our RE program and all the joy they might bring. As exciting as all this sounds, I urge you, as we work toward inviting in new people from the wider community, let us not strive for growth's sake. And please, let us not see newcomers who move through our doors solely through the lens of what they can offer us. The reason we want to expand our capacity is that we have something special here that we want to share with others. We have open hearts and a wide welcome for our fellow seekers who are looking for a spiritual home. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has a radical message about the saving power of love that people need to hear. The word growth can be helpful shorthand, but we absolutely cannot be using it with a scarcity mindset. Each of us here has been transformed in some way by this faith. There is abundance here, and it can ripple out and have an impact for good in our wider world. We have something special here. I hope you can feel it. I don't know for certain, I can't know for certain who we are becoming, but I do know for certain that we are ready to say yes to a new chapter, to say yes to the humming, thrumming life force that is in our midst. And if you're weary, that's okay too. You can show up hungry. We've got you. Let yourself be fed here for a time, and then when you're ready, offer a bowl to the next person. Let this be a prayer that our highest aspirations as a community be made real. May we work to build and live into and become beloved community. May it be so. Amen and blessed be.
So before we sing our next hymn, I just wanted to take a second to let you know what's happened. This is the chorale's last Sunday for this season, and then we'll pick up again on in-gathering. We'll be singing for that. But I wanted to let you know what's happening for the whole congregation musically here over the summer, over the month of July. Starting on July 10th for the next, those 3 Wednesdays, I'll be offering here 3 different workshops. One will be a singing skills workshop that everyone is invited to. The next week we'll be singing rounds and chants together, which will be kind of fun, an opportunity to just come and have fun singing, no requirement for any of it. And then the third one is a basic music reading skills, so that you can take a look and say, what are all those little squiggles and weird little things on those pages? What do they mean? What are they for? And it's to hopefully empower people to be able to feel like they can join more vigorously with singing here. And we also want to let people know who might be on the fence that this might be a way to put your toes in to think about joining the chorale or the welcome singers. And so there are two different groups, so we're going to be reactivating the welcome singers coming up in the fall as well. So we just want to invite people, as many people as would love to share your voice with us. We want to hear your voice, and just wanted to let you know about that. So we invite you all to rise in body or spirit now as we sing hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit.
As we come to the close of our time together, I want to thank all those who've made it possible. Scott Farrell and the chorale, John Hanson on the piano, Reverend Carter, Liz Bucklew, our storyteller, Israel Evans, our chalice lighter, Nathan Henry up in the booth, and our ushers, our hospitality people. It takes all of us to do this. As always, it is a pleasure and a blessing to do this sacred work together. Members, do make sure to look at your Westside Week, which you will have received on Friday, for details about the Solstice Picnic and Tailgate Party today at 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. in the Westside parking lot. Bring along a potluck dish and your beverages of choice. There is no barbecue this year. Some Westside friends will be opening their tailgates to offer something special as well. There will be activities for kids, sing-along music with the Westside Strummers, and a summer solstice ritual led by Reverend Carter. Also, look for an upcoming e-blast with all the information about marching in the Pride Parade next Sunday, including timing, accessibility, and more. And finally, make sure to complete the brief survey from the Committee on Ministry. There is a link in your Westside week. Our next Sunday service will be on July 14th with Reverend Carter and Worship Associate Lisa Reitzitz, who will be pondering, I Do Know How to Pay Attention, part of a summer worship series inspired by Mary Oliver's poem, The Summer Day.
One more time, let's rise in body or spirit for our closing words. As we go from here, may we not forget that we are a people who claim love and who are claimed by love. This is a love beyond belief, a love that will not let us go. In all our comings and goings, let us profess this love loudly in our moments of joy, and may it hold us in our moments of struggle. I will now invite Israel to release our flame. As he does so, may you go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.